Hello and welcome back. This is the fourth tutorial in the series on MySQL Workbench, and we are going to go to week 4. So this is the slide for week 4. Yeah, and in week 4 we'll be using the HR sample data, and we'll learn how to use the SQL distinct operator. Yeah, so we are still on data manipulation, and we'll be looking at the SQL distinct operator. Yeah, and how it works. Okay, yeah, so there is an example here, and this example is from what? The HR sample data. Okay, I'm not going to take you through the slides. I like to do it from the workbench. Okay, yeah, so all this you've seen in the slides, if you follow them, then you'll be able to do same on the workbench. Okay, so let's look at the question here. This demonstrates, yeah, how the distinct operates. Okay, so it's like we have a question here, so let's look at the question. Yeah, so you use distinct to what? Remove duplicates. Yeah, anytime you are using what the SQL select, yeah, clause. Yeah, so if you look at this code here, select salary from employees, order by salary. Yeah, so that is the SQL command you've given, and this is the output here. Yeah, but looking at the output, you can see that 17,000 appears twice. Yeah, and that is duplicate. I mean, you wouldn't want that. I mean, if it is salary, you just want what? Distinct salary. Okay. Yeah, so you can fix that using what? The distinct. So to fix it, this is the what? The solution. So select distinct salary from what? Employees, order salary, order by salary. Yeah, in descending order. So that is the meaning of this code. Okay. Okay, so let's implement that on the workbench. Okay, so let's get to the workbench. All right, I'll enter a connection. Okay, so this takes me to the workbench. I have to make sure the HR database is not here. All right, so I have it here, UPSA HR. So I'm just going to drop that table. So let me open a new script and then work from the new script. So I will say yeah, drop table. This is the yeah, I want to delete this. So alternatively, you can just right click and then you drop the schema. Okay, or you can do it from command line. So you can say drop schema, then you bring the name of the schema, UPSA HR. So it's right here. I'm going to pick that, and then okay, so let's execute that. All right, so you can see that the UPSA HR schema has been dropped. Okay, maybe I should zoom this out a bit. So that is how to drop your database. So you can always drop your databases, and you can always drop what your tables as well. I've seen another schema there, just HR. So I can also drop schema. Yeah, drop schema HR, so that I can drop that as well. So you can always use Control Enter to execute using the second execution button here. All right, so that has also been dropped. Okay, yeah, and any other database you want to drop for that matter, so you can always drop them from what the query pane. Okay, so now we have dropped the UPSA HR database. I'm going to now create the HR database here. Okay, so I have these files that contain the UPSA, sorry, the HR, yeah, database tables and then data. So you can see them. They are what? Text files. Yeah, so you have what? HR data and then what? HR tables. Okay, So first you execute the tables first because it's a relational database, and in relational database you store data in tables. So first we are going to execute the what, the code for the tables. Okay, so you can simply open the text file and then what, copy the entire script, or you can go to the workbench and then what, open the script from the workbench. So there are two ways of doing that. So you either what, highlight everything and copy, which I believe is much more mundane. Yeah, yes. So the much what I mean refined way of doing it is to what, to come to your workbench, and then instead of what, copying and pasting, you should what, go to file and then open what, script. Okay, so let's go to open script, and you go to the location where you have what, the HR file. So I'll share these files with you. Yeah, so attached to this video I'll add the file so that yeah, after watching this demo you can actually download the files and then what, practice with them. Okay, so you can see that the HR files are not showing because they are txt files. So I'll simply what, yeah, change the option here to all files. Okay, so if you try to browse and you don't find them, you have to what, come and change this particular, yeah, selection here to all files. So now you can see all the files are shown here. So in a relational database, first you create your tables before you enter data. Okay, so let's pick the script of what, the HR table. So you see it's simple. Okay, yeah, and yeah, the code is displayed. Yeah, but you can see that this time around I said what, create database UPSA HR. So you can always name what, your HR database whichever way you want it. I could have just said what, create schema or create database HR. Okay, yeah, or I can make it what, XYZ HR or ABC HR or whatever name you want to give to it. Okay, so this is the XYZ HR what, database. And then you come to this part. um, you don't have to make these modifications. I'm just trying to use it to explain a point. Okay, so everything is already made for you to just start running the scripts. Once you open the script, you can just start running it. Okay, yeah, but those that want to modify it, you can do that as well before you run the script. So now I have what's XYZHR. So this particular line what activates the database when you create it. Okay, yeah, but there is even one thing you can always do. Yeah, yeah. So at times you can always say that they should drop the table if exists. Okay, so yeah, you can always do that as well. So that is also a very good practice. Yeah, so this is a very good practice because at times, if you are running a whole script, then you want to what, put this then there, such that at times when you are trying to run your script and they are telling you, oh, the database already exists. That can be frustrating. So you can get rid of that by adding this line of code. So you can say what, drop database if exists. So it will first check if the database exists, then it will drop it. Then you bring the name of the database. So which database should they drop if it exists? That is the XYZ database. XYZ HR, sorry. So then that is it. So this is the first line. Drop database if exists. Then you bring the name of the database. XYZ HR database. Okay. Then if it doesn't exist, then they'll go to create it. But if it exists, they'll drop it, and then what? The second line will create it again. Then the third line will what? Activate it. Use XYZ that will activate the database. Yeah. Then you come to what, the creation of the actual table. So this particular database has a number of what tables. I think about 5 or is it 7 tables. and then this is the code to create all the tables. So we have what the regions table. Yes, so you can see that the original code I'm giving you is having what integer, and then yeah, the integer sizes are defined. Yeah, that is old fashioned. Okay, yeah, so the new syntax is that for integer you don't declare the size of what the data type. So I'm going to get rid of it, yeah, for all the integer data type. So this is the regions table, and then the next table we have there. Okay, so let's go to the next table. Okay, so the next table we have here, let me close this space, it's too much. Okay, so you can see that we have auto increment here, auto increment primary key. So that means that the primary key will not be assigned by you, but the system itself will assign primary keys. This can be very useful if you are um, creating some products or some items that you don't have already made codes for them. The system can actually help you assign codes or ID numbers to items you want to store in your database. Okay, yeah, so you can do that easily using auto increments. And this is the primary key field, so you indicate that the region ID is the primary key. It is an integer and it's going to be system generated. Yeah, then the next line is the region name, which is variable character varchar. The size is 25, and the default is null, so it can be an empty field. So it's without providing the region details, the database system is still going to accept the input. Okay, so let's go to the next table, that is the regions table. Yeah, so in the regions table as well, you have country ID, that will be the primary key, the country name, the region ID. So you can see that the region ID, we have it here again. So we are just going to take off the integer size, and like I said, that is old-fashioned. So we take it out, and here they are making the region ID the foreign key. Okay, remember the first table was regions table, and we have regions ID, that is the primary key. So now we've come to the second table, that is for the countries, and then the region ID here is also in the country, because a country will be in a region, or a region can be in a country, whichever way yeah, they choose to make it, because at times we can say we are in the the yeah, in terms of the continent, we are in the sub-Saharan region. Yeah, Ghana is in sub-Saharan region. Okay, and then also within Ghana, if we are talking about regions, we all understand what regions are in Ghana. Okay, so whichever one it is, you can um, choose to have regions ID within a country. All right, then now we want to link the countries table to the regions table. Yeah, to do the linking, you need what we call the foreign key, and then the foreign key should be the key field that is common to the tables you want to link. And in this case, we have region ID that is found in the regions table and also in the countries table. So we use it as a foreign key. So let's start by saying foreign key, regions ID, then references regions, yeah, and then you bring the foreign key again, that is regions ID, and you indicate on delete cascade and then on update cascade. Yeah, so this is very important because anytime you are deleting, it should have a cascading effect or a cross-cut effect. Yeah, meaning it should affect all the tables that are related. So it means if we should do any update here on the countries table, if there is a related record in the regions table, it should be affected. That is the meaning. Okay, so I've explained this thing in class, so I wouldn't waste time on that. Let's move on to the next table, that is the locations table. Yeah, so we just make sure we get rid of all the integer sizes, and then yeah, so the rest of it is okay. And then there is a link here that is linking the countries table, so you can see they are using what country ID here as the foreign key, because we have country ID in country, and then when you come to locations table you have what country ID right here. Yeah, so that will do the link for us. And then you have the jobs table, so we are just going to get rid of the integer size. Yeah, but without getting rid of the integer size, I mean, it's still going to work for now, but they'll give you a warning, but maybe in future it wouldn't work. Yeah, so getting rid of the integer sizes. So this is for departments, and then this is the employees table, so that is the table we'll be working for mostly. Yeah, it is a table containing the employees personal details, or the employees details, let me put it that way. All right, so there are quite a number of what I mean integer data types, so we are getting rid of what the integer size declarations. And then yeah, let's get to the last table, that is the dependence table. So these are the dependents of what the employee, and then we finally get rid of all the integer size declarations. So now we are done with the fixes we have to what make on the code to eliminate any warning after executing the code. Okay, yeah, so this is the code, and then I'm going to execute it to really create the tables for the XYZ HR database. Okay, so because we are going to run the entire code, we are going to execute it using the first execution button here. Yeah, so you simply click on it, and then it's going to what execute from what the beginning. Yeah, that's line 1 to what line 65. Okay, let's go. All right. So that is done. We have created our HR what database, and we called it what XYZ HR. So we don't have it here at the moment. Let's refresh, and then you can see that we have what the HR database here, that is what XYZ HR, and yeah, it is what activated. So that is how you run a script from scratch. Okay, so you can also what yeah, we can do some manipulations here. Okay, so let's start by showing what all the tables in the what database. So we can say show tables. Yeah, so this is going to show us the tables in the XYZ HR database we just created. So okay, so you can see that we have what a couple of tables there, and so I think there are, okay, yeah, these are the tables there. Let me drag this part down a bit so that you can see all the tables. Okay, there are 7 tables. So we have countries, departments, dependents, employees, jobs, locations, and regions. So these are 7 tables in the XYZ HR database. Okay, and then the reason why you do this is to know the names of the tables. Knowing the names of the tables is important. If you have to call the tables, you are going to use the names, and it is case sensitive. So you should get the spelling right, and then the case right as well. So if it is uppercase, you make it uppercase, lowercase, you make it lowercase. Okay, all right, so let's now describe the employees table. That is a table I want us to focus on here. So we are going to say yeah, describe. Yeah, so we are going to pick the short form here, describe what employees. Okay, Okay, so let's execute it. All right, so this is the employees table. Okay, this is the structure of the table. Yeah, now the next thing we'll do is to enter data. So there is another script for the data. So I'll go to file, open script, and then I'll pick so at the moment it's not showing. So you always have to make sure that you select all files, and then all the files will be shown when you browse. All right, so let's go to HR data, and then we'll simply just pick it, and this is the data. And you don't need to do anything else. Just execute it using the first execution button, and the data will be entered. So, all right, so that is a data entry. Now we've entered the data successfully. What we can do now is to display the records in our various tables. So let's start by displaying the records in the employees table. So to do that, we will say this, yeah, describe all, yeah, sorry, select all from employees. So this will display or generates a list of all the records in the employees table. So select all. So the all is normally represented using asterisk. So select all from what employees, and that is it. Okay, so this is the employees table. Okay, yeah, this is it. Yeah, so we have a number of records there. Yeah, so at this point you may want to count the number of employees you have on your on your table. Yeah, yeah, you may want to count them. You don't know the number of employees, and then yeah, we can count it. So let's say select. Yeah, so this time you are going to use the count function. So select count. Let me give you a space here. Select count, and then you can either count their first names or their employees IDs. So select count employee ID. Yeah, so make sure it corresponds with what you have in the field. Okay, just something like this. Yeah, you may even want to just copy it, copy field name and paste. Okay, yeah. So select counts employees ID from employees table. Okay, so we can say from employees. Okay, and then we can execute that. Okay, so the count is 40, but you can see the heading is not looking good. Okay, yeah, so you can bring an alias here. So select count employees as number of employees. So you can always modify the heading by using the alias. So but it should be in quotes. Okay, as number of employees. Yeah, if it is only one yeah, word here, then you don't need to put a quote, the double quotes. But I mean, if you are writing a phrase, or yeah, a number of words to represent the title, then you need to put all of them in quotes. All right, my battery is running low. I have to recharge it and then continue. Okay, so let's execute it before I go. Okay, so you can see that number of employees 40. Okay, yeah, so let me stop here, and then I'll continue from here.